What's good, squad? It's the big homie, SB23, back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today, we're going to talk about how to manifest by using your mind. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, SB23 on YouTube, Chosen123 on YouTube. You'll get these gems on both channels. I appreciate you taking the time and energy to come and hang out with me, soak up the knowledge, spread the information to whoever might need it. I'm hoping you're having a good day, and I'm sending the love out your way. So, how to manifest by using your mind. First, you gotta understand that your mind is ridiculously powerful. So, whatever you think in your mind, you can manifest into your reality. Once you understand just how powerful you actually are and how much of everything you really do control. I think that a lot of us grow up thinking that we're just existing and we're surviving in this world, and things are just happening to us. But in all reality, it's the things that you think about that is creating the things that pop up in your existence, within your reality. So, and if you understand that you have the power to dictate that by you controlling your thoughts, then you unlock a power in this world that is almost unstoppable once you get to harness it and fully get the grasp of understanding how it works. When we were kids, we were very imaginative. So we used our minds and our creativity to think of things in a certain way that was freeing. And it wasn't until we became adults that the programming that we went through altered that part of us to where we stopped being imaginative. We stopped using our minds to think about things in different ways and create scenarios in different ways. So as we became older, we would think something. When we were younger, we would think something and believe it was possible because we thought it in our mind. But as we grew from the conditioning of other adults in our lives telling us and putting almost shackles on us, telling us that no, you can never do this, or no, that's impossible, or whatever the case may be, because they didn't believe it to be so, or they couldn't see what you saw. It dampened and hampered your ability to manifest just off of pure imagination. You'll find that most of the really successful people in life are highly imaginative. They think something that other people think is impossible or isn't something that can be reached, and they don't fall into that way of thinking. They follow whatever it is, whatever dream they thought in their mind, they follow it until they accomplish what it is that they wanted to get to. So much so that people even will paint them as being crazy or being not being realistic enough, not facing reality, as a lot of people say. But what those people don't understand is that person is facing reality. That person is creating their own reality the way they want it to be, not the way that society tells you it should be. So how do you manifest with your mind? First, you have to see it in your mind. You have to imagine it. You have to use your imagination. Again, something that we had naturally as kids. We always used our imagination, but then we stopped. When you get to being an adult and you start to deprogram, you start to realize that your imagination is very key. If you can imagine something in your mind, you can create it into your existence. Doesn't matter how wacky it might seem, you can create it into your existence if you are feeling open enough to the idea. And again, it might not manifest in the way that you think it's going to, but something within the way that you thought it'll manifest in a way, and you'll know it immediately that that's what you were thinking in your mind, even though it wasn't exactly how you were thinking. You'll see it and you'll say, okay, that's what I was thinking, and then it'll manifest some sort of way in your reality. That's why you have to be very careful with what your thoughts are. You want to keep your thoughts on a higher vibration so that you can attract those higher vibrational things to be shown in your reality, as opposed to thinking on the lower end. So fear and negativity, envy, jealousy, all that stuff, that's like lower vibrational. You don't want to operate in those thoughts because it'll manifest in front of you, and that's not what you want, you know. Or at least that's not what you should want for yourself in life. Life is about enjoying it. And how do you enjoy it? You think about things within your mind that you enjoy, and then it manifests in front of you in due time. So, and you can manifest things instantly, or it might take some time depending on how big it is that you are imagining. How big of a scenario in your mind that you're imagining. So, but you can test this in real time. I do this all the time. I was bowling with a couple of my bros a couple weeks ago, or last week or so. Yeah, last week, because we're supposed to be going bowling tomorrow. So last week, and you know, I've been bowling for the majority of my life, so I'm I'm a good bowler. So we were all bowling, and with any sport or anything you're doing, you're gonna have highs and lows. So on one day you might bowl better than you do on another day. But when I was bowling, I bowled in the first game was alright. It was like a 158 or something like that. It was okay. And I was sitting there bowling. I was watching them bowl, and then before I went to bowl, something told me to envision myself taking the shot and making the shot. Envision myself bowling and all the pins going down. So I sat there for a minute and I did it. And after I did it, I got up and I went to bowl, and I bowled a strike. And I was like, okay, let me see if that was a fluke or if this is a real thing. So I did it again. Before it was my turn, I envisioned myself going up to take the shot, taking the shot, and actually knocking down all 10 pins. I did it again. So when I went up, I went to bowl, I envisioned myself getting a strike, and then I got another strike. So I said, okay, it can't be a fluke. I must be onto something. So then I did it again. On my next turn, I did it again. Envision myself bowling, getting a strike. Boom, get another strike. Next time up, boom, get another strike. Next time up, boom, got another strike. From that point forward, I had realized that it dawned on me how powerful your mind is, because I wasn't doing anything different within my actual bowling swing or approach or whatever it is. I'm doing exactly the same thing I've been doing, but before I do it, I'm envisioning myself accomplishing the goal of knocking down all 10 pins. And it was happening back to back to back to back. And I realized in that moment just how powerful your mind is and how much we underutilize our imagination, because that's really all I did. I imagined myself getting strikes, and it started happening. And I didn't change anything within my swing. It started happening. And again, I was with my bros, so they can attest to this. They seen it with their own eyes too. And so afterwards, I was like, okay, I want to test this. So I told one of my bros what I did. And I told him, it all starts off, if you think about it first and see it happening, you'll you can do it effortlessly. It's not even like you're not even trying. You're just going up there and doing it but first you imagined it. So I told him, and I'm watching him in real time as I see him sit there and think about it and then get up and do it. And literally the same thing happened. He got up, he went, he took his shot, strike. And he just started bowling not too long ago, so he's still getting his feel for the game. But just by having that insight and me telling him that, immediately I seen a difference in his swing. So that's why I knew it wasn't a fluke. I knew it was real. And then from that point on, I tested the theory again. We still at the bowling alley. We went to the arcade, and they got the basketball thing at the arcade, and me and my boy is going head to head, and it was pretty even on the first game. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try that same theory. I'm gonna attempt to see myself make the shot before I take the shot. So we go again. We going head to head, you know, on the little mini basketball thing. And okay, I'm seeing myself make the shots before I'm taking the shots. Before the ball's rolling down and you grab it and you take the shot, I'm seeing myself make the shot and they go in every time. So I'm shooting it, boom, it's going in, it's going in, it's going in. So at the end of this game, when we looked at the score, he had pretty much the same score from the last game, but I had doubled my points just by imagining myself making the shot in my mind and then taking the shot and it going in. So I'm saying that to say that you have much more power than you actually realize within yourself, and it all starts from up here. If you can imagine something, if you can see yourself in a specific scenario and see yourself accomplishing said goal and then taking the action to move that way, you're going to accomplish the goal. As long as you can keep the vision. And because when you're seeing yourself doing it, you don't even have to believe about it. There is no sense of belief. You are already seeing yourself accomplishing the goal. So you don't have to, you don't need to believe that you can do it. You already know you can because you've seen yourself do it in your mind. And think about what I'm saying. Like, think about how powerful that is, just seeing yourself do something in your mind and being able to do it in real time. I did it in real time, and I realized that, but that was the first, I didn't realize I had been doing that, but that's the first time I actually purposely took the time to envision something and do it. But I had done that before in my life. I had tapped into that because all that is being in the flow state. If you understand what flow state is, it's just you're so locked in that you're not even really thinking about what you're doing. It's just happening within the moment. And when you get in that zone, you can get hot real quick. And if you can stay, the longer you can stay in that zone, the easier it is to do whatever it is that you're doing. So again, even for basketball, like I went and played basketball a couple of days ago for the first time since last winter. And you know, when you first get out there, you trying to shoot, you're rusty. You got to get the feel back. But it's like once you can get locked in, okay, now you can hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, hit 4. Now you can hit 5 in a row because you done got the rhythm back, you done got the feeling back, and you're not thinking about the shot now. You're just doing it off of muscle memory. It's just, boom, I'm just going up because I see myself making the shot. You know what I'm saying? Once you see yourself, you'll hear that in basketball or whatever. In a lot of sports, you'll see, like, I just need to see myself doing it one time, and then, okay, I know exactly what to do from there. So that's the same theory. Like, once you see yourself do it in your mind, then you can accomplish that in real time, because now you don't need to, you're not confused as to whether you can do it or not. You're not trying to do it. You have already seen yourself do it. So now you just go up there and just do it, and it happens. Your body just takes over. So it's like you're programming. Again, you got to understand that your brain is like a computer. So whatever you are receiving in programs from this world is what you're going to download, and then that's going to be your beliefs. But you always can rewrite those downloads. You can uninstall something and then install something new. Or, you know, if you did, maybe you uninstall something that was working before, you can reinstall that. You know what I'm saying? Again, when we were kids, our imagination was something that we all used. You know, we didn't even need, a lot of times we didn't even need anything. Like when we were younger, we didn't need all these electronics and stuff like that. All we needed was like a rock or a stick or something, or some, you know, anything, and we would make a game out of it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. we would make a game out of it. All we needed was some chalk or something, and then we would create some sort of game. Y'all remember when we was kids, we used to make up stuff to have fun, and we'd be having the best times of our lives just making up stuff off the cuff, not even thinking about it, just making it up with your friends. Remember when we were kids, how easy it was to live life because we had imagination, and our imagination was what was leading us towards enjoyment. But once we got older, we lost that sense of imagination and that sense of love for life. But you can reinstall your imagination. Just because you uninstalled it at one point in your life doesn't mean you can't reinstall that information. You can reprogram your brain at any point. It's up to you. You can make a choice. And again, once you realize how powerful your thoughts are, you can then start to dictate them and manifest things the way that you want it to manifest. Clear up your energy so that that energy will flow to, so that the right energy will flow to you correctly, and then use your mind, use your brain power to navigate yourself towards where you want to go, where you want to point that energy towards. Imagine it, and then it will go that way. It'll come through like a river, and you'll flow right along with it to wherever you want to go. And like I'm saying, you can use it in small situations, like you just having fun with your boys, or with your ladies, or with your girls, or whoever it is, and with your people. But you want to, but you're challenging yourself. So you're like, okay, I want to see how good I can do at this. So you say, okay, I'm gonna actually take the time to focus in a little bit. You're still having fun, but you're like, okay, let me challenge myself, see if I can do something that wasn't that I wasn't able to do before. Break a limit. You know what I'm saying? It's about breaking limits too. That's another thing that I always talk about. You want to level yourself up. In order to do that, you need to use your mind and see yourself doing it. You know what I'm saying? That same day when I was bowling, because I wanted to test. I'm one of those people who, when I find something out, I like to really break it down and then figure it out, so then I can harness whatever it is that I figured out and use it to my ability. So once I figured out that I can tap into that power at will, I started to do it on purpose with everything. So my bro that I was saying, my bro who he just started bowling a few years back. He's getting really good at it. He had to leave early, and then my other bro, he didn't want to bowl anymore, but we still had like a half an hour left before the bowling alley was gonna close, and I still wanted to bowl because I wanted to test this theory. So I restarted the game, and it was still all three of us on the thing, and I bowled for everybody. And as I was bowling, I was hitting nothing but strikes or spares. There was no open frames, like within these games that I was playing for the first, I think it was the first 5 frames for everybody's game. I was hitting nothing but strikes and spares, and I mean, it was so crazy. It was so locked in. While I was bowling, I was watching my bro's expression while he was looking up at the scoreboard while I was bowling for all three of us. Again, I'm bowling for all three of us because I just wanted to practice. So that's 30 frames. So for the first half of those 30 frames, I basically bowled perfect. Outside of, I mean, perfect would have been a strike every time, but when you're bowling, you don't want open frames. You know, you don't mind getting a spare, because then at least that frame isn't open. An open frame is when you don't get all 10 pins within the 2 times you get the bowl. So when you hit the first 15, like I said, frames out of the 30 I bowled without them being open, that is rare to do. You know what I'm saying? That's not like, especially if you're not a professional, like you don't live and breathe bowling, but you go to have fun. And you know, I was in leagues too, but I haven't been in the league in a long time. That is really good to bowl that way, to bowl that consistently. again, and why am I saying this? I'm saying that to say I had tapped into a power that I knew was possible because I've been talking about it, but I didn't even understand how powerful it was until I really realized it that day. Like, yo, you really can tap into something right there on the spot and make it happen if you can imagine it in your mind. And that's just the message for today, you know. Tap back into your imagination. Imagine yourself doing something, and then go out there and do it, and watch yourself do it in real time, and to be blown away about it. Be like, whoa, like I can't even believe I did that, but I saw myself doing it, so it makes sense as to why I was able to do it, because you took any limiters off of yourself, any limits that you might have put in your mind about something you can or can't do. The minute that you allow yourself to see yourself doing it within your mind, once you can imagine yourself, tap into your imagination and allow yourself to see yourself doing it, then you are limitless, and you become unstoppable at that point, because you have released the shackles on yourself that you put on yourself mentally, and allowed yourself the space to perform something at a level that you didn't even know was possible. So that's the message for today, y'all. Use your mind to manifest. Tap back into your imagination. You can always reprogram your mind if you have bad programming, or if you've put in your own false programming on yourself about your abilities or your limits, or whatever the case may be. Understand that you can always surpass your limits. Understand that you can, whatever you think in your mind, you can manifest into this reality, because you create your reality, and you're a very powerful person. And you gotta be able to look yourself in the mirror and say that. Tell yourself that I'm a very powerful person, and I create my reality. And then intentionally use your mind to create things in your world. And again, what do I always say? The best way to do that is to clear up your energy, vibrate on the high, positive vibration, spread love and joy out into the world, so it comes back to you, so that good energy will flow, and then that will make that manifestation that you're thinking in your mind and you're imagining to come to fruition. All right, y'all, it's the big homie. I'm holla.